Well, friends, dinner is ready. Please come find a spot at the table while the food is still warm. Oh, why do you look so surprised? Did you not believe a wolf could cook? Or did you think, oh, I am offended? I do not cook, my guests. Please take a seat and dig in. Fill your bellies. While I continue my story. Where was I? Oh, yes. Zargo had just got her warrant and was headed back to the mortuary.
All right, hello, friends and fellow adventurers. Welcome once again to Rolling Solo RPG. I will be your host, your dice roller, and the assistant in telling Varger the Wolf's stories. I, along with my trusty dice, are here to help invent the story of Zargo. All right, so let's just jump straight into the action this session. Last time, Zargo got a warrant from the chief to search the premises that the elven bard in the alleyway pointed out to us. He saw something suspicious. Whether that was anything to do with the investigation that we have going on with the stolen item from the historical museum is yet to be seen. So we jump to Zargo in the street. She follows her same footsteps she took to get here in the first place. Coming out of the alley and dashing down to the right, she approaches a door. Now, this door was previously locked, so I don't even, and I think, Zargo, let's see. First roll of today's session is Zargo. She's been a guard for a while, so she knows her way around the block. I'm thinking she's gonna check for alternate exits before she goes knocking and announcing herself as a guard. So, does Zargo check for alternate exits? I'm gonna say it's very likely. Ooh, 06 extreme, yes. Yes, she does. She takes a full perimeter sweep around this area. Now, this map is just a map I kind of threw together with some of the Roll20 assets that I had in my library. But this is what we're going to use today. So Zargo's going to do, I don't know what its problem is. There we go. She's going to do a full perimeter sweep around. She's checking windows. She does find another door here. As she does her rounds, she finds a few windows and second door. Okay, she's going to stop by the second door. Now, is there anything in this alleyway that Zargo can use to put in front of this door to kind of block an alternate exit in case she knocks on the front door and they try to bust out the back door kind of thing? Is there anything she can stack, some crates or barrels in this alleyway? I'm going to say 50-50. Is there anything she can use to block this doorway? 52. Oh, no, just barely outside of the no. So there is not. So she's just going to keep moving. She's going to make a mental note that doorway is there. And she's going to walk back to the front door. And she's going to knock once again. Now, they did not answer last time, so I'm going to say it is nearly impossible anybody's going to answer this time. And before I forget, I was just checking my chaos factor. We are currently at a chaos factor 5. And we haven't really done any actual scenes, which I need to get in the habit of doing. So, up here at the top in our adventure journal, this is going to be our first scene, and that is investigating the house in which you got the warrant for. Now, to test a scene before it starts in the mythic system, you got to roll a D10, and we got to test the event. So, let me make sure, yep. We roll a D10 and we compare that to the chaos factor. If it meets or is below the chaos factor, then something is going to happen, depending on whether it's odds or evens. So let's just get that roll out of the way. Is our scene interrupted or altered in any way? Ooh, a 0, that's a 10, so that is going to be no. That is way above our chaos factor. So it is going to proceed as is assumed, as it would be expected, is the terminology I was racking my brain for. All right, so Zargo knocks on the door. Now the question I was going to ask before, with a chaos factor of 5, it is nearly impossible. Does anybody answer the door this time? It's going to be a no. That is not an extreme no, though, so just a no. So she does knock. She announces herself. Open up. This is the Port District Guard. I'm here with a warrant to search the place. If you do not comply within 5 seconds, I'll be forced to break down the door. She has a very manly voice. I'm going to try to kind of work with the voice, but it's just, go with me. Go with me on this. She's an orc, so I got to give her kind of like a husky, really big, underbitten voice. And of course, no one does. She gives her 5 count out loud, and she shoulders in the door. Now, I'm going to make her do a athletics check, and I'm going to give it a DC 15. So let's use our handy dandy athletics roll, which she has a 7. So she's going to put all her force, and she's a big girl. So she gives an athletics check. That is a 16. Oh yeah, plus a 7. That does not critically succeed, but I don't think that's going to make a difference in this. So she shoulder checks the door. It breaks open with the flimsy wood flying like shrapnel into the house. She peers inside. Now, what does she see as she peers inside? Let's go to our tables. All right, locations. Give us a little bit of a vibe of what's going on inside this house. I'll tell you what, before I roll on the table, let's ask a question. I'm thinking this is either a business, like a small business, like a bookstore or a bakery or something. So is this a business or a residential area? I'm going to ask, is this residential? And I'm going to make it likely. And if it comes up a no, it will be a business. All right, I'm going to say very likely. All right. Is this a residence? Very likely. Chaos factor. Ooh, a 99. That's an extreme no. So this is a business. All right. Okay. I like it. Let's find a business. And what kind of business is this? Location, character, object, descriptor. Okay, well, we're on the descriptor table. What kind of business is this? 29. Enormously. And 94. Enormously unpleasant. Something large and unpleasant for a business. That's a hard one. Something large and unpleasant as a business. Let's see. Large and unpleasant. I am thinking large and unpleasant. Okay, this is a really magical realm. Let's see. I'm going to go with large and unpleasant. I'm thinking the unpleasant is something to do with death, like not a mortuary, like a place where bodies are embalmed and like prepared for funeral rites and stuff like that. So I'm thinking that's what this place is. Would that be a mortuary? Yeah. I'm extremely unworldly. So we're going to just go with mortuary. All right. So she busts in the door. She comes inside. She takes a look around. The place is dark. All the windows are boarded up. Are there any lights on in this place? Any candles lit? Any light source that would suggest someone has been here recently? I'm going to say it's unlikely. 11. Ooh, 11. Okay, so 11, not only, it was unlikely, but that's still a yes. We got a yes, and we got our first random event of the game. So, because that is under the chaos factor. So, a random event. Now, we roll to see the event focus of this random event. The event focus is going to be 12, which is a new NPC. I got a good one for this. Okay. 12, a new NPC. All right. So as she shoulder checks the door, boom, busts inside, starts looking around. Okay, so there was a yes. There are lights on in here. I'm thinking that they're just ever-burning torches that are just kind of in the corners. So they're just always going. Anybody that doesn't know what ever-burning torch is, it's just a magical torch. It's not like an actual fire. If you put your hand over it, it doesn't burn. It can stay lit for, well, forever. Yeah. So she busts open, looks around. The place does indeed show all the typical signs of a mortuary. There's coffins, and there are table slabs with surgical tools and shelving filled with vials of different embalming fluids and like vials of like organs in jars just floating in the fluids. Behind her, in the doorway, she kind of, as she starts walking in a couple steps and she's looking around, she hears, oh, okay. Before she hears, sorry, I'm just off on all kinds of tangents. This is all really new to me, so it's kind of hard for me to scramble in my brain where things need to go and when. But a new NPC, let's roll it right now on our handy dandy. Oh, why is it not working? You son of a buck. Hold on. Okay, thank you for waiting. Yeah, okay. Okay, now let's roll us a new NPC here. Haha, we got a female elf named Vega. So, behind Zargo, a female elf approaches. She says, Zargo! Zargo! Are you in there, Zargo? Zargo turns. Who is that? What's going on? I was sent by the chief. I am your new partner. My name is Vega. Vega. Let me pronunciate that correctly. My name is Vega. I was just recently promoted to the hand of the law as well. What I don't understand. This is kind of random. This is a random event. But, alright. If you say so. Come on in here. I'm just beginning the search of this premises. We had reports of a stolen item from the Natural History Museum up the road, and I was going off a lead that I got the other night, and it pointed to this place. So, if you are of any help, then show it. Of course, okay. My expertise lies in just this. What do you know so far? And Zargo explains to her everything that's kind of gone on, which isn't much, just what was stolen, where it was stolen from, and then obviously why we are here. So let me get the map back to where we were. All right. And I'm going to get her a token really quick. All right. We got our nice little player icon for our new NPC Vega, who is Zargo's new partner and the city guard. So, yep, I picked out a nice little, I already kind of had this icon made, so that worked out well. And with that, we're going to add Vega to the characters list. Blam. All right. So, Zargo kind of just like takes this as, well, okay, this is what's going on. So she's like, all right, just follow my lead. We're going to investigate this place. I just busted open the door. It seems nobody is here. Let's continue our search. I told you what we were looking for. Keep a good eye open and keep your wits about you. So they begin searching the house, the business, I should say. So after a few minutes of searching, do they find anything on this level? Do they find the item they're looking for on this level? I'm going to say that is nearly impossible. Now, because these people had an entire night to ditch this, I don't think they necessarily knew that Zargo was on their tail, so it might not be a high alert. Otherwise, I would have made it impossible. But I'm going to say it is, we'll go very unlikely. So, do they find the stolen item they are looking for here on this first level? Very unlikely. That's a 59, and that is a no. They do not. So they search around, they search cupboards, they search behind shelves, behind bottles, they search under the slabs on the table. They kind of search the tops, in the rafters, in the cabinets. They don't come up with anything out of the ordinary that wouldn't be in a mortuary. So, but there is a staircase. Now, this staircase on the map is technically going up, but for this purpose, I'm going to say that this staircase descends down into the basement, which is where they would keep the cadavers and all the body parts and anything that would need to be hidden from, let's say, customers coming in the front door kind of thing. So,
All right, Zargo speaks up. All right, we're gonna go down to the basement. Now, follow my lead. If anything should happen, just run back up and fetch other guards.
So they descend down into the basement. Is it pitch black down here? I'm gonna say likely. Sure, why not? Is it pitch black down in the basement? 34 on a likely. Yes, it is. Not an extreme yes, but it is a yes. So they descend down. Zargo grabs a torch off her belt, because I'm sure she kind of has like a utility belt, kind of like Batman kind of thing, where she just has a few of her necessary guard equipment, one of which being a torch. So she grabs her torch and then shuffles in her little pouch, grabs her flint and steel, and she sparks up her torch. She holds it out in front of her. It gets very damp and musty down here. They both descend deeper into the basement. They're searching around. Vega also gets her torch out, lights it up. They kind of fork off into different directions. Now, I would say this basement's probably roughly the same size as the upstairs is. So I'm going to say it's divided into two different rooms. And they both kind of go into each separate room. Now, okay, let's see. Does Zargo come up with anything in her search of her room? I'm going to say it's very unlikely. Does Zargo find anything useful? A 90. That is an extreme no. She does not. Vega in the other room. Vega got the the room where they keep, those sliding drawers in the mortuaries. I should know what that's called, but so she got the room where they actually keep all the bodies and the cadavers, and she's kind of going through them one by one, slowly pulling them out. Is there anything in any of these that would come out and attack? We need some combat in this game. I'm going to say it's 50-50. She's opening up these doors. Does anything attack them? Ooh, 06, extreme yes, on a chaos factor of 5. So about the fourth or fifth drawer that Vega slides open, she slides it open, and it's covered in an ugly burlap cloth. But she notices it looks like it's almost breathing. Its chest is kind of moving up and down. Seeing this, she instantly reaches for her weapon, and she unsheathes. We'll say she has a sword? Yeah, we'll go sword. Classic sword. She unsheathes her sword, and she kind of uses the tip of her sword. She takes a step back, and she kind of flips the cloth off. And as she does so, a zombie lurches up and rolls off the table. Boom! thuds on the ground. Zargo in the other room. Can Zargo hear this? I'm gonna say it's very likely. It's a tiny place. Does Zargo hear this happening? Very likely 65. Yes, she does. Zargo hears this. She too unsheathes her bastard sword. She has a slightly bigger sword. She's been on the force a little longer, you know, she gets better equipment. And she starts around the corner. Now with that, I'm gonna set up a battle stations. Alright, we got our zombie shambler who just plopped onto the ground. Zargo's in the other room. Now, I know we're using the same map, but let's pretend that this is the basement, but it has the same layout. So Zargo, actually, let's say Zargo was in this room over here, just to make it a little fun. There's no door or anything. Some shelves over here. Zargo hears this. She unsheathes her weapon. So she does have her weapon in hand, and I'm gonna say that Vega has time to unsheath her weapon as this zombie stands up and we initiate combat. So for just simplicity's sake, since I don't have a character sheet for Vega, I'm just going to use Zargo's. Since they're both guards, they're both going to be kind of probably equipped about the same. Zargo's only level 1, so we'll just use that. I think that should be fair for today, but in between sessions I'm going to make Vega her own character sheet, and we'll figure out a class and everything, and then I will present her probably in a separate video. I'll figure that out later. That's not important. What's important is this battle. So I'm going to use red dice for the zombie, and I'm going to use the white dice for both of our heroes. Okay, so we're going to roll, and I'll use a third d20 just to get the initiatives rolled all at once. So white is Zargo, yellow is going to be Vega, and red is going to be the zombie. Now, 7 plus Zargo's perception. That's what we're going to be starting off for our... Let's get this set up. Where is the turn order? Boom. We need to add to the turn order. Ascending, descending. Yeah. We need to add turn. Forget how to do this. I haven't used Roll20 in a while. Add turn, and we're going to add turn for that. So, a 7 plus 5 is going to be a 12 for Zargo. And then a 12 plus 5 is going to be a 17 for Vega. So she is going to have the start on this. And then a 2 plus, let's bring up the Shambler here, which I'm sure he has a terrible, 0. So he is just going to go on a 2. Even though that's extremely bad, it's not really in comparison to everything. So, Vega, who is up first? What is that name under it? I'm glad you can't really see it. Let's make Barger keep his head in the way. Okay, so Vega is up first. She's going to be rolling with the white dice. Now, she draws her sword. This zombie is just now starting to stand up as its back begins to straighten. She wastes no time, and she's going to strike with her sword. If she does deal damage, though, I'm only going to give her a d6 instead of a d8 because of the bastard sword, because we said that she did only have probably a long sword on her. So she strikes with her first attack, and that's going to be a 7 plus. We're going to give her... Oh, I guess I said I was going to use, so it's going to be a plus 9 to hit with that. Alright, and the AC of this zombie is only 12, so that is going to be a hit, but not quite a crit, as that's going to be a 16 total to hit. And I rolled a yellow dice with that, if you notice. I'm going to roll, with each attack roll, I'm going to roll the yellow dice. Now, the yellow dice is only going to be to determine where the attack E gets hit in. So a 3 on that yellow dice is going to be right in the torso. So Vega draws her sword, and as soon as it unsheathes, she just comes with an upward arc, hitting the zombie right in the chest, and she's going to deal her... I said I was going to do a d6, but I will still do the same strength bonus. It's going to be 2 plus 4 for 6 points of damage. Now, let me see. Yep, they are weak to slashing. Now, zombies are weak to slashing, so they are weak 5. So she dealt her 6 damage, and then we're going to add 5 on top of that. So 6, let me get this out of the way. Boom, 6 and 5 is going to be 11 points right off the bat. Chunk, she kind of, not only does she swing up and chunk, but she kind of hits the side of his torso. Ooh, tears off the decomposed skin, exposing just the rib cage, and a little bit of the intestines start to spill out a little bit, but not completely. So they're just kind of dragging next to the zombie. And that was just her first action. With her second action, she is going to, what's she gonna do? She'll do something smart. She's gonna attack a second time. She gets 3 actions because this is Pathfinder. She's gonna attack a second time with a -5 penalty to the attack, and that is a 12. So a 12, and then with her +4 after that is gonna be another 16, which is another hit. And she hits him in the torso again. Yes, she does. And she's gonna get her D6 plus her 4, and that is gonna be 10, and that is before the extra 5, so that's 15 points. She eviscerates it. Her blade comes up again. It hits not only the same spot, but just a little more centered. Cracks. Oh, she does another upward swipe, and it just catches right between the rib cage and just kind of separates it. And the blade stops right on the chin of the zombie. And its dead blank stare just kind of looks at her before it collapses lifelessly once again on the floor. Now that effectively kills that zombie, and we are going to give it the nice little red X of death. All right, and that, she still has an action left. She's not even done. She's just going to step back kind of in shock with her last action. Sure, why not? And we're just going to go ahead and exit combat because that was the end of the enemies. Zargo didn't even have a chance. As Zargo runs and rushes around the corner, she turns to see Vega just kind of starting to slowly backpedal a little bit, and she sees from the light of the torch that Vega had in her other hand the lifeless body laying there, and the stench of just putrid, rotten flesh wafting through the air, and the pool of goo just starts to spread down the floor. Zargos looks at Vega. What happened? What? I see a zombie. What? Are you okay? Just, what's going on? Frantically, Vega just says, I was searching through these drawers of the bodies and nothing out of the usual until I opened that drawer and I noticed some unusual movement. So I was on guard and I took a step back and unclothed it, and as soon as I did, it's like it triggered it, and it rolled on the ground and began to attack me, but I was swift with my blade and cut it down before it could even stand all the way up. Very good work. I'm proud of you. I will commend this to the chief when we get back and make our report. In the meantime, did you find anything of use? Vega says, no, not yet. I have not finished my search, but I am going to proceed with more caution now. All right, well, I finished searching the back room, and there was nothing there. I'll assist you in finish searching this room, and if we turn up with nothing, then it seems like this was a dead end. So they continue to search this room. Do they find anything of use? I'm going to say it's, again, very unlikely. Do they find... I'm going to say it's nearly impossible. Do they find the item that they're looking for? 93, extreme no. Not only do they not find the item they're looking for, nothing here is out of the ordinary. There's no stolen items. They know for sure they searched every nook and cranny of this place. So, they finish up their search. They go back up the stairs. They exit the door. They close it behind them. And, well, Zargo does her best to kind of keep it closed and kind of pry it back into where it was. Because remember, she kicked it in and splintered the door. So, it's probably not going to shut very well. But she kind of reaches into her bag, pulls out a bit of rope, and she kind of ties the door closed. I'm sure she has some kind of, like police tape esque stuff, or probably even more accurately, she probably has some paper and some chalk, and she writes on it, "Police investigation, temporarily closed," and she nails that tink 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 to the door, and she goes to the back door, does the same. She actually locks up the back door, which it was probably already locked, so that's needless. And she posts it there as well. It's still very early in the day, so Vega and Zargo are going to go back to the guardhouse, and they're going to report their findings to the chief. Now, with that, I believe we're going to call it there. So before they go in and start talking to the chief, we're going to call it there, and we're going to pick up with that conversation on the next session. And I think, minus all the extra little side tangents I went off of, I think today was a pretty good session. I like that she has a partner right away, which I was really kind of hoping something was going to come of that at some point. I was going to have to do it eventually, because, like I say, when it comes to combat and Pathfinder anyway, the more the merrier. So, thank you guys for watching once again, and Varger thanks you, Zargo thanks you, and now Vega thanks you, and all the other friends that we have yet to meet here on Rolling Solo RPG. Thanks you for your attendance and your patience, and we hope to see you again. Thank you, and goodbye.